Hi, it's been a long marathon of stories after stories, but one thing I know is we're building a family, a community of trailblazers. People that I rarely understood, a rare species of people, but again, people that are out there to help people, to inspire, to transform lives and change lives, and then change the norm as it is and challenge the norm as it is. I know that you understand yourself when I talk about this, and we are hosting one of those very crucial members of this community, of the trailblazers. I call her a trailblazer, even when she doesn't know that. So now she knows that. She's Fabiola. It's been quite a long time. I think some of you watched, it's been quite, I wanted to bring it up from the start, where she was very little and, starting out in this industry, throwing herself out there, not knowing what life will turn out. I remember the first encounter when she was doing Be My Date,
That is a while
ago. I don't know how
Yeah.
many years are those. So I featured on that as well. And, she went on to do so many beautiful things. And her life has grown to an extent that she is a business person, and she is a person that inspires so many. I have seen the comments that you throw on Fabiola's wall, and I'm like, yes, this is real inspiration. This is someone motivating without actually standing up on a microphone and saying, hey guys, you should work hard. She's saying, I will work hard, look at me, learn from me. And that's the best motivation that you can ever get. So, ladies and gentlemen, drum rolls, we have Fabiola. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
As
Thank you.
beautiful as always.
Thank you for
as
having
humble
me.
as always. I don't know
Yeah.
so many people know this trait about you.
I
Do
don't
they?
think, no, they don't.
What do they know about you? Like, you usually have that thought that I
Yes.
think people think.
Well, I do know what they know about
What
they think they know about me.
What
and
do they know?
That is, I'm proud.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a diva, things like that. Industry
Where do they
things.
get that from?
From the industry. I mean, look at my social media. When you look at my social media pages, or when you meet me on these stages or see me on TV,
But again, that's the life.
You're not meeting me in person, so you don't know me. You know,
Oh,
know my
yeah.
public persona.
You're reading into my facade.
Yes,
The
my
who I put
public
out there.
persona. Yeah.
Yes.
So, and I don't blame them, and I actually don't mind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind
Because
it.
not everyone is going to know you at a personal level.
Yes, and I don't think they need to know me at a personal level.
And then you told us you take pictures for a living.
Exactly, I do. So I take pictures, get paid, post them, and everyone's like, diva, but I don't mind that.
I know, I like that part. I was like, is
I-
she even joking? She's like, no, I'm a business person and then I take pictures for a living. What do you do? I was like, okay.
Yeah.
She has given it to them.
Yes. So I don't mind being known as the proud diva girl. I don't mind. That's just part of my public Fabiola persona. So
Yeah.
in person, though, not everyone has that access to me in person. So
And that
that's okay.
persona-
I reserve that for people that know me in person.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's a small group of people.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that persona has been in construction of building for a very long time.
That's true.
Like you have stood the test of time.
Yes.
There are so many waves in life, and I don't know where this conversation is taking us, but I would want to jump in right there. And I know we're going to have moments where we're going to talk about what you do and all that, but there are so many waves of life where you could have thought, I am not surviving this wave in this industry.
Oh, yes.
I want us to hint on some of those moments, because there are people who just look at a person going and going and going and thinking you're always enthusiastic, you're always up there, your moods are always so good, and you're just floating in the air, just going, not knowing that there's so many waves in the industry, and sometimes you're thinking, I'm not surviving this one, and then God takes you through it to the other side.
Yeah.
Those moments, how do those moments feel like?
Well, I'm a human being, so they feel
Yeah.
like really you're going to die tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, and I think I had one of those years in 2016. Thank God I've not had another year like that year, right?
Was
it?
the
No,
most-
2016, 2000... No, I think, well, I'm not sure.
15,
16, 16,
around.
when I
could have
had,
been earlier.
yeah, when I had my personal pictures put on the internet.
I remember that
I was
time.
very young, just starting out in the industry. I
Yeah.
lost my job,
Yeah.
lost all of that.
Everyone said whatever
Everyone
they wanted
said
to
whatever they
say.
wanted. There were so many theories going around, and here I am, just 1 year into that industry, and this
that
is
could have
happening.
buried you.
You know,
That
so
could
for
have
me, I
buried you.
didn't think I would go through that
Survive
year.
that.
So if I survived that, nothing else could
What took
really
you
put
through?
me. Just
That sounds like ages ago, but so
Yeah.
when you go through something, that memories are acting in your mind.
Well, now I can speak on it publicly because it's so many years ago,
Yeah.
and I've survived it, and I've triumphed.
You've grown stronger.
Yes, I've triumphed, so it doesn't bother me,
Yeah.
you know. And in a way, I'm really glad I went through that experience because it threw me in a completely new direction from what I thought I wanted.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So before that, I had a very clean girl persona. I was new in the industry. No one knew anything about me.
The beautiful little girl.
Yes, beautiful little girl on TV. Then
Yeah.
after that, everything was upside down, and it was the opposite of that.
Bashing and
Yes,
all that.
so it was, oh, she's this, she's that, just from that, without understanding the complete story.
Yeah.
So from going from this clean girl, sweet girl, young girl persona to going to this other one,
To
people
one
thinking,
everyone is toning and pulling
yeah,
down.
you're calling you all kinds of names
Yes.
just because somebody actually was malicious enough to put your pictures on the internet.
Yeah.
So I had to navigate that. I had to learn how to understand who I was and not listen to what everyone else was calling me. So
That
for
is
the
huge.
Yes, so for the first time, I didn't rely on public praise and public love,
Because it was shaken.
yeah, which is what I was relying on before because I had it all. I had it
Yeah.
like that. So
Your numbers were growing, your
100%.
followers were growing,
Yes,
your
so I
money
had
was, you know,
100%.
every industry person was, you know, come
that's
work with
it.
me.
Yes,
Yeah.
so I had to rely on my own understanding of who I was.
Wow.
So that is exactly what carried me through. I have a very strong family unit, very close friends at the time,
system.
support system.
Wow.
Yes, but then they can also only do
That's
so
true.
much.
They leave it everything.
Yes.
Because you go to bed alone.
Yes.
You sleep and
Yes.
cry yourself to sleep.
Yes.
And so if you're not strong, just when your family members, maybe from the dining, you've had your meal, now you're alone, you're in your thoughts.
That's it.
And
So
the thoughts are the worst.
yeah, we all know people that you
places.
want to help, you try to help, but they're not ready to receive help.
That's
so
true.
at the end of the day, no matter how great or strong your support system is, it's all on you.
Comes
so
back to you.
exactly. So I had to rely on my own understanding of who I was,
Yeah.
what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go. My dreams actually carried me through a very dark time because I realized if I give up now, then why did I start? You know, then
Yeah.
what's
Why-
the
why-
point?
Why did I even do
Yeah,
that
why
anyway?
did I, you know, they can't win mindset like that.
So you kept speaking to yourself.
100%.
Wow.
Yes, 100%. So I went through it young as I was and grew from it, and I got way better opportunities after that. So in a way, I'm glad it happened. I don't regret it now. If you had asked me this question back then, I'll be like,
yeah.
oh my God, my life is over. But now I'm like, yes, if I was to go
Even
back.
when I knew you back then, I
Yeah.
could not even take a phone to call you because when someone is going through that, you don't want to ask anything related
you
to that.
don't.
You don't want.
Yeah.
So the best you can do is say a prayer and hope that they can be strong
And
enough
hope
to
they'll be
navigate.
okay.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's all.
Yeah.
And then you take all the years without even asking. This is the only time I've been bold enough to say,
because
how
we've
did
moved-
it feel
yeah,
like?
we've moved past
No,
it.
because you've
Yeah.
celebrated so many things.
100%, yeah.
You've come from this part, just like you said, relying on people's praises and saying how beautiful and how nice and how young you. I remember those things they used to say. Oh, I love you. Please come. Do what? And then all of a sudden, everyone has a totally, like in a blink of an eye.
Yes,
everyone has a totally different understanding of who you are. So
Opposite,
you
yes.
said it threw you to a trajectory that that is so different from what you had envisioned. What did
yes.
that mean?
Well, because of how my career at the time was playing out, I was doing everything right by the book. You know?
Yeah.
From Miss
I
Uganda
want
straight
to,
onto
to everyone to see me as the good girl.
not.
Oh, I
That
want to
wasn't
work
my
with
intention.
everyone.
No, that wasn't my intention. But I was doing everything right. Like from Miss Uganda, I moved on to TV, so I was envisioning myself having a long TV career, then maybe a producer. I was doing mass communication at the university.
Yeah, just like by the book, just
so
like
by
you'd say.
yes, by the book. So when that happened, then now I, out of the blue, became tabloid gossip material,
I
which was
know.
never my intention to begin with.
Yeah.
Right. So when that happened, I had to now change. You know, people will never view me
The
how I
same.
thought they were viewing me. So now I just have to be bold.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be bold and not
Ooh.
let anyone
Mm-hmm.
throw me off. They
Like
can
I have
say
to
what
fight for myself.
100%.
This is my space. I
That's
have
it.
come. I am not going.
That's it.
Wow.
That's
Unapologetic.
it. So I had to become that. I wasn't that before.
From
because
the
I
weak
didn't
girl
need it. Yeah, I didn't
that
need
wanted
it.
to sail through the
That's
industry
it. I didn't
and
need
be
the
very
strength.
predictable.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
I didn't need the strength, and I intended for that TV show to go on for years and, you know, become something through that, right?
And do you know that it would have been a slow growth?
I,
Had you gone by the book,
that's why I'm saying
it would
I
have
don't
been
regret
a very
it.
slow.
Yeah.
And then the covering or the ceiling would have been sooner.
100%.
You'd have outgrown everything
Yes,
so soon.
100%. 100%. So initially, I didn't need the strength. I didn't need the boldness. I didn't need to stand up
All
for
you
myself.
needed was to be sweet, have good English,
show up, do my job,
yeah.
and go to school, and I'm done.
Yeah.
That was it. But after that,
Now
I had
you're
to
like,
toughen up.
you have unleashed the beast in me.
Thank you very much.
The
I had to look
giant.
for new opportunities because I was on that show for only a year.
Yeah.
It feels like I was on it for a long time.
I know.
But only a year. So
When you do things the normal way, it looks like you've done them for a long time.
thank you very much. So I had to look for new opportunities. I had to decide if I really wanted to continue on this path or I wanted to run away from everyone. And I said, I'm not
Now,
a runner.
do you
I'm
know
not going to do that.
Looking back, it's now
Yeah.
that I understand that how you came back to the scene, you were even bored
Yes.
about TV shows.
Yes. Yes. Because it just didn't serve.
And you know, I kept
Yeah, serve
watching
me
you
anymore.
even
Yeah.
on other TV shows that I will not mention, and I kept thinking, she looks bored.
Yeah.
She feels there's something more in her
Thank
than
you.
just appearing
You get
every
it.
now and then.
You get it.
And I saw it.
Yeah, you get it. You
Wow.
get it. Yes.
So while you were appearing on the TV shows, you were cooking different things in your mind, having
Yes.
ideas.
Well, for me, because I've always been such a planner, I feel like everything is always a means to an end for me, especially my TV journey.
Yes.
You know, I have so many people asking me, when are you coming back on TV? When are you doing this? It doesn't serve me anymore.
Yeah.
It's not something I'm passionate about,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
passionate about
As
as
you
I
were
was
by then,
back
yeah.
then. And I'm not someone who's going to stick to something
That's no longer
10 years.
working.
Why?
Yeah.
Like, I love to grow.
If
I
it's
love
not
to
serving
move.
you,
I move
move
on.
on.
But there's a thin line between moving on and just not being consistent. So for me, when I did other TV shows, I did them until a point where I was ready to move on to the next thing, which was elevating me.
so you knew this is a means to an end,
yes, so
but
I'm
I'm going
gonna
to
do this.
respectfully do it.
Of course.
Show up
Of
when I
course,
need to show
yes,
up.
do my job, do it well, because I respect work a lot and I
Yes.
respect career paths and all of that. So if I've decided that I'm going to do television for the next maybe 4 years,
You commit.
that's it. I'm going to do it as I do other things that are going to lead me to the next thing, you know, and I'm not someone who will wake up and, oh, I'm done with this and I just sit at home. No. When I do something, like for example, when I moved on to the next TV show, I was hosting red carpets all
Yes.
around Africa, doing
Yeah.
all the big events
yeah.
and stuff like that, actually around the world. So it allowed me to stay consistent enough with my media training and all
Yeah,
of that, so I
yeah.
can do this other job, so I can get my red carpet hosting skills together.
Yes.
Then I moved on to actually hosting the event itself.
So every piece of the journey was necessary, leading you and
100%,
connecting you to the next one.
100%,
And people are never that patient.
You
know, when we spot something that we like, we're like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I want.
yeah.
So this becomes useless.
Yeah.
So according to you,
Doesn't work
this
like
is a
that.
piece that connects me to that.
Yes,
I'm
and-
going to be loyal and determined and committed to
Yes.
it. So when that elevation comes, I will have enough power to carry it.
Yes, and you're ready for it, and you've
Wow.
planned for it, and you respect it enough because you know you've worked towards it. Nothing just comes out of the blue and falls onto your lap. And also every opportunity, every job that you have in the moment always somehow leads you to the next thing. It opens
That's
your
true.
mind up
It's like
to
a
the next
platform.
thing. Yes.
It's like you're on a display
That's it.
for the
That's
world
it.
to see you.
Yes.
And sometimes when we're given the opportunities to display our abilities, we fall short. And then we tend to blame everyone else, not blaming us. And I mean, you have an opportunity, for example, people have social media platforms, but they don't know that on social media platform is your your chance to display yourself and what you do, so the world can see who you are and be able to interact and collaborate with you.
Yes, yes.
So, okay, you're thrown into that, and now a lot is making so much of what you're saying is making a lot of sense, and because then you start a podcast, and then you move on even from that, and get. When is it that time? Because I feel there are people that are watching us and they don't know when it's time to end a phase of your life, or even pause a phase of your life if it's not working the way you were supposed to work, or the energy it's zapping out of you is not the energy that you want to commit to it. How do you feel, or what prompts you to think this is it?
Yeah.
Or I can pause and come back to it later, or I can totally move on.
Yes. So people know when it's time to move on. People know when it's time to do something bigger. They know when they've outgrown a certain phase of their lives. They're just sometimes too scared and not bold enough.
That's true.
But like I said, I've been through the worst. So for me, fear is something that has never stopped me from doing anything.
You do it afraid.
Yes, I do it afraid
You're
because
shaking,
it has
but
not
you're
hurt
going
me.
on.
Yes, I've not been hurt by anything.
What's the worst
before.
that can happen?
That's
If
it.
it fails,
So
it fails, then I know it's
that's
not working.
it. I've always had that mentality. I've always said, so what's going to happen to me? Like, what's really, you tell me. So if I decide to take a leap of faith and start up my business, what's the worst that is going to happen to me? Okay, the worst is people will not take it so
Buy
well.
my
People,
product.
yes, people,
Yeah.
right?
You're-
That has nothing to
you
do
realize
with me.
it's,
Yeah, I'm like, why am I thinking for everyone? That is
Yeah.
none of my business. So my ability to give myself pep talks from
Yeah.
time to time and always,
Wow.
constantly,
Wow.
talking to myself
But
as if
building and constructive pep talks.
Yes.
Because again, we have people that have negative attitudes.
I'm not that person.
That
yeah.
deconstruct themselves every
Well,
time.
because I'm a human being, I do get the negative thoughts.
Yeah.
But because I give myself the pep talks, I talk myself through situations.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm going to leave this job and I'm going to start a new one. I'm so scared. I'm not ready. Oh, then I spend another 5 years of my life. Me? No, I can't do that.
In the same
Yeah, in
limbo.
this
Yeah.
crying and sad and not happy about it, I
Yeah.
cannot do that. So instead, what I do is I talk to myself mentally, prepare myself.
Would rather jump and fall.
Yes, because
Than
at
fail
the end
to
of the
jump
day,
at all.
we overestimate the worst possible
Yeah,
outcomes.
that's true, yeah.
It's never that serious and it's never
Serious.
that bad.
Yeah.
You know, and also I had to tell myself and remind myself that everyone you see is dealing with their own situation.
Exactly.
So they don't really have as
So
much time
much
for you as you
time
think they do.
To dwell on
They
you.
will talk about it for a minute, but when they go home, you think they're going to discuss you tomorrow, the next
They
day.
have their own baggage to
Yes,
carry.
and
yeah.
I would see that with myself. If there's something going on in the media, a story going on in the media, you talk about it for a minute and you move on to your own issues and your own problems.
It dies off.
No one cares.
Yeah.
No one cares. So for me, I'm able to pursue my dreams
You
fearlessly.
detach yourself from
I
other
detach
people's
myself from the
emotions and their-
outcomes, possible outcomes, and all of that, then deal with the reality of the outcomes once they arise.
And one thing I know, I think it's somewhere in the Bible where it says that God can never give us more than what we can handle. I feel like there's that gift of you perceiving or getting an idea, and maybe it's not for that moment, maybe it's for later, but if it's for that moment, you feel the enthusiasm to
Yes,
do it,
yes.
even when you feel the fear at the same time.
That's
but there's
it.
a part of you that is screaming, do it, go ahead and do it.
That's
And
it.
you feel the butterflies, you feel the push, you feel, and when you eventually do it, even when it turns out bad, you're happy
Yeah.
and content.
Yes, because
You never feel frustrated.
You've tried. That's the same thing with my podcast. I felt compelled to do a podcast,
Yeah.
and I just went for it immediately. I didn't give it a lot of thought because I'm really not that. I'm a planner, yes, but I'm a planner and a doer at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'm not the type of person who's going to plan something for a whole year without doing it.
Yeah.
I will plan as I execute. So I did my podcast, and months down the road, I realized this is not my dream. Like, this is not me. I
Yeah.
saw an idea somewhere, someone else's idea, someone that was doing it. I liked it, so I'm doing it. But it's not me.
Okay,
So
so
I jumped ship. Jumped
no,
ship
I love
immediately.
I love the
Yeah.
fact that you talk about it that way, because so many of us, and so many of us get to see things, because social media has brought everything closer to home. So now we are exposed, overly exposed, and sometimes when we take a liking to something, then we think maybe we should do actually,
Yeah.
and yet it's not our passion, it's not our
not your
purpose,
calling.
it's not your calling.
That's it.
You don't
Yeah.
have the drive for it, because if you're passionate about something and you have the calling for it, you would, do you know that you would be doing that podcast even on top of everything that you're doing?
100%.
But because that's
It was
not your
never
core,
my calling.
it
Yeah.
was never your calling,
Yeah.
then, and I am so glad, because so many people never admit, they're like, no, I'm going to stick in there, people are going to say I stopped, I'm going to
Like
keep
I said,
going.
I'm not that type of person who's going to do something for
I
5
love
years,
that.
10 years, miserable,
feel
but doing
yeah.
it for others. Me,
Yeah.
I will live in a second. I will live in a second.
You'll not even think twice.
No.
You like,
no.
I mean, this, I'm doing
I
it
woke up
for...
and I was done,
Yeah.
you know, and I was like, well, I do not care if people are going to say, but you do also owe your audience and some sort of explanation of
yeah.
which I did, you know, so because they've been following you, they've been, you know, and podcasting in itself is amazing. Just that topic, the niche that I'd chosen at that time
Yeah.
was not my calling.
And it was too
wasn't
wide.
for me, you know, so eventually you just streamline your passions and what you can do, and you move along that. So I feel like I was also really young, so I was still figuring
But
my
I think
way
we
out
find,
as
yeah.
I go. Yes.
And then how else do we find our true calling? Is by trying so many
Yes.
things,
Yes.
our hand at so many things. We get our hands so dirty by doing so many things, and then you find my heart beats for this. My heart sings leaps when I do this.
Yeah.
And so many of us, I think, we neglect to take the chance to try so many things, because then we're like, then we're going to fail at so many things again. But again, it's better to fail at so many things until that light bulb comes on and you're like, this is it.
Yeah, but like
I'm
I
going to
said,
stick
so
to
what
this.
if you fail?
I know.
Like, so what? Yes, you're
Who
going
is there to
fail.
count your failures?
And who's
Who is
counting apart
No one
from
is
you?
counting,
You
yeah.
know, so that has never
I know there's a way
registered
we get
mentally for me.
magnifying glasses, and we
Yeah.
magnify all the failures, but actually no one is seeing. It's
No
like a
one
drop in the
cares.
ocean.
No
No
one
one
cares.
is seeing
And
that.
once you win, they
Put it
forget.
behind.
Yeah, once you win, it's like you've never gone through
No, we
nothing.
love to see you happy. We
Yes.
don't like to seeing the gloomy you, and we celebrate with the winners. We do
See?
not.
Yeah, so if you dwell in the failures or you dwell in this
in
did
the
not work
crying
out,
and yeah.
then that's on you. Really, that's on you. You have no one to blame.
Yeah.
You know, like it's so easy for people to want to be patted on the back for all of that. No, grow up. Like, we're all adults. We're all trying to figure it out. Why do you think that everyone... why do you want everyone to leave what they're doing to come and like cry with you just because something didn't work out?
I know.
You're grown. Get up, dust yourself
Dust
off, and
yourself
move on
and
like
go.
the
Like
rest of us.
nothing happened.
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, so I know we'll have to come back to that, because
Yeah.
I love the you. I really love the you. But, so Fabiola gets married.
Yeah.
But I know people have had preconceived ideas about the Fabiola that
Yeah.
was getting
Yeah.
into marriage. Just like you say, they know the persona. They don't know who. The person that your husband dating you and understand you, and that was inner circle, that was deep, that was a person who knows that this is Fabiola, this is me and Fabiola. This is not the persona that everyone actually knows. How did that even pan around? Because I felt like, yeah, there is a shift
Yeah, I
altogether.
mean, how is it my business? What
What?
everyone thinks of me? Like, what does that have to do with me? You know,
Yeah.
I always ask myself,
I know,
like,
it's people
really,
like you that
that's
win
it.
at life.
Exactly, like it has nothing to do with me, because picture this. Millions of people know me, know of me, know about me.
The
I don't know
social
millions
media
of
you.
people.
Yeah.
Do I know millions of people? No. The people that I know personally, I can count. Those are the opinions I care about. So everyone else...
Yeah, if someone close to you makes a certain statement,
Yes,
then you're like,
then I'll
why
be like,
did
what's
they
going
make
on?
it?
Yeah, but then everyone else who's a stranger to me, no. And like I said, I entered this industry wanting this industry. I was prepared for everything that comes with it. I got the short end of the stick in the beginning, so it
Yeah.
helped me navigate everything else. So everything else after that ceases
It's
to
like, you know
matter.
what, I am
No.
here, I am doing this, I'm
I'm
doing
here
it
to
for
stay
me,
and I'm here for life.
I
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
for me, everything else that they'll say, oh, she's this, she's that, that's okay,
That's
because
their
it's part of
business.
the territory.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I don't want it to end. Why? Because it's part of that business. This is show business. If I did not want show business, I wouldn't be in show business.
And I love that you mentor you mentor not just models, but what do you call them? Queens and stuff like that, because some of them have told me that
Yes.
you mentor them.
Yes,
So
yes.
if this is what you're giving to them, my goodness, you're infesting them with
Yeah,
an apologetic
no,
approach to life.
because you have to.
I know.
You have to, especially if
the
you're
world
young,
will tear you
you're a
apart.
young, beautiful girl who's ambitious and who goes for what you want.
Yeah.
Everyone else around you who's not doing what you're doing or at your level
Will never
or
understand
maybe
you.
in different fields, they'll always have something to say,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
So you're like, you know what, come, I'll mentor you, I'll inject you with an apologetic
If you're going to
version
be
of
around
yourself.
me, we better be strong, we
Wow.
better be moving. I have
Wow.
no time to sit and cry with someone.
Yeah.
You know, yes, you're crying, okay, but what are we going to do
We have
about
time
it?
to work.
Because I don't have really, like, that drains me a lot, and I cannot allow that. I cannot allow to be in environments where my spirit is drained, where I feel, no, come on, we can do better. Because I feel like, yes, people do deal with problems that maybe weigh them down, but so does everyone else.
Yeah.
You may be dealing with things at a different level, but so does everyone else. So I don't tolerate things that just put my spirit down. I do not tolerate negative talk. I do not tolerate gossip around me. I do not, because I want to move
You're
at a
more
winning
like
level.
an alpha female.
Yes,
You're
in a
out
way,
there.
in a way, business-wise,
I
not
know,
at
I
home.
know. At home, you're, I mean, submissive.
Yes, I'm
wife.
a lady and I love it. Yeah, but when
The
it comes to
feminine
like,
energy.
yes, when it comes to living out my dreams.
Oh, that you must push.
Yes, living out my dreams and being in business. You cannot be in business
You have to hustle.
and run
You
a
can't bring your
successful
feminine
business.
energy in business.
It doesn't
No,
work.
It doesn't.
It doesn't work.
Everyone steps on you.
And being feminine is part of my branding.
Yeah.
It's part of who I am, and I will never take that away. But also being feminine, a part of being feminine is being tough and going over.
And strong, yeah.
Yes, being tough, being strong, and going for what you want.
Yeah.
Because as a feminine person, if I'm also raising my children, I need to be tough and strong to be
That's
able to
true.
do that.
That's true.
I need to be tough and strong to be able to have a healthy, happy home.
Yes,
You're not going to
protect
do
it
that
as a
if
woman.
your mood is easily swayed by a
Very
comment.
petty things.
Yeah, I find them so petty. I find comments, all of that. That's why I constantly ask myself, so what?
Yeah.
So what? If that reason really is as small as an opinion that, oh my God, I'm not going to do this because they said this. If it's just a comment, an opinion, I don't
To
care.
hell with
I
that.
don't care. Yes. And the things that matter to me are family, health, you know, and probably my dreams. So if it's not in line
And you
with
know, you've
that,
always loved family.
100%.
All the conversations we've had in life
100%.
have been around family.
And for me, that's what
I
matters.
see you happy. How is
Yeah.
it working out for
It's
you?
bliss. It's bliss.
What
I
would you
love
tell
it.
to the Fabiola 15 years ago?
Um,
Being married to the man
Yeah.
of your life and the man of your dreams,
Yeah.
and having a family that you really dreamt about, what would you tell to that girl?
I would tell her, just don't stop believing in love, number one. Number two, he will come.
So many people stopped believing in love.
Yes,
Yeah,
number
they
two,
give
he
up.
will come. He will eventually find you, because I've always been a lover. I've always loved love.
Yeah,
I've
you've always told me I'm a
Yeah,
sucker for love.
I love love.
I'm a romantic.
That's it. That's it, you know. So honestly, I've never stopped believing.
And you've
So
done
I just-
everything you've always told me, you know,
Yes.
you have this in Paris, we will have this. And back then, like,
Yeah.
I don't think you had even traveled so
Never,
many
I'd never even
countries.
left Uganda.
That should have been, I don't know, so many years ago.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you were telling me about the life that you wanted. And now looking back, I'm like,
Everything,
that
every
girl
single thing.
had dreams.
Yes, had dreams.
So when I saw your comment of I am living my answered prayers, like in my life, I'm like, for the people that don't know her, they
Yeah.
could think she just post it as a post.
As a caption,
But a
no.
person I've had personal conversations with her, she's literally living her
Yes,
answered prayers.
yes, yes.
Okay, and we have so many things to talk about with Fabiola, but the answered prayers, do you remember a time in your life where you vividly went to God and really made a prayer?
Always, yes, always. I lead with God. I lead with God, and I lead by faith, not by sight, because faith always gives me sight. You know what I mean?
Eventually, yes.
Eventually.
You believe for it,
I
eventually
believe
you
for
see
it. And like you said, you've also reminded me of the conversations we used to have. I've always prayed to God for the things that I want. I've always been very specific with the things that I want. And somehow when they come to pass, I mean, sometimes remember that I prayed for it
sometimes
or not.
You don't.
But they're always very exact and very specific. So I do remember times, especially when things were not going so well, and I'm like, this is what I want, but things are just not happening. Yeah, things are just not happening. And I just kept going, and somehow things are thrown at your lap. Yes, and then sometimes...
Not in your timing, but in God's timing.
No, and then most times when things happen for me or come to pass, I've forgotten that there's a time I really wanted this. And I think it's so powerful, because once you pray to God, and you have faith in Him, and you believe in Him, leave it alone. There's no need to...
Leave it to Him.
Yes.
Don't push in your own power.
Right. So when I look back at my life, I'm like, so that was true. That's actually what I did without even knowing. I prayed to Him, manifested my life, and just left it alone. And then eventually it happens, and you go back to old diaries, and you're like, wow. Every single thing. And once those happen, then you create new things and new things. Exactly. So it's just about believing in God, but also being fearless about what you want, and specific about what you want.
And people are never specific. They're very vague
about
their prayers and about what their wishes. And today they are dilly-dallying with one wish, another time they want another one. So they keep changing goalposts. I think sometimes God looks at us and is like, but what does she really want? But if you are strong at heart and say, okay, this is what I want, this is the kind of man that I want. Recently I was talking to a certain lady, and she was telling me, but at this point, any man that comes, any man, as in, just give me any man.
Absolutely
just
not.
Give me any man. And so I was actually doing a show some time back, and I was like, I was very specific about the kind of man I wanted, and God gave me that kind of man exactly. And I was like, but I was not ready to settle for anything. If others were settling for a different kind of man, I specifically wanted a loyal, respectful, God-fearing, God-serving, family-oriented. Like, I wanted specific things. And if you just like you said, it comes to pass.
It does.
He answers your prayers.
It really does.
It manifests, and you see it with
the Bible says,
eyes.
ask and you will receive. Why then don't I follow that?
Yeah, why do we doubt?
Yeah, why doubt?
Because then if you don't believe or have the faith, that means you're doubting. The only option is doubt. And once you doubt, then you think, maybe I should figure them on my own. Maybe I should. It's like you're giving God your problems, and then you're saying, but there are too many. Let me just have them back.
God.
And what? But he's all knowing.
He's all knowing. He created you.
I know.
Yeah.
And He had a plan for you. You were
That's
not.
it.
I think I've said it for the past week so many times that. And that was just something that I landed on, that our parents made us, but God formed us. And when someone forms something, they have an intention as to why they formed it.
Wow, that's powerful.
It's like assembling a car. You are forming a car, but you are forming it with a certain desired functionality in mind. When a potter is creating a pot, they know that this pot is going to carry water, it's going to cook, or it's going to... So there is a work that clearly God assigned for you.
Yes.
But so many of us wallow in self-pity and wallow in doubt and wallow in, just the rat race of life, and we never amount to anything. And now you go into manufacturing.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole it's a whole journey. If we wanted, we could handle these segments one day by day. Per show. I know. But you go from, from everything that you've been doing, and you conceive an idea. And I remember when you put on the teasers and telling us something is coming, something is coming. And you teased us for a long time. And someone was like, what's going on? Why isn't she telling us?
Yes.
And then you drop the line, and and definitely everyone is, what's this? Can I have a piece of this? Can I have a piece of this? My mind goes very fast. Being a business person, my mind goes very fast behind the curtains.
Yes.
I'm usually happy for the product, but I usually think about you in the creation of this product than you that has the product in display. So I know that this is going to take us quite some time, and I don't want her to just begin on that journey and just mute. Let me just ask this out of curiosity. So you were there, you loved the product because you've always loved makeup. You've always loved, and back then you told me your good brands and the ones that you really liked. So when you made this, I was like, okay, in relation to what she has done, it must really be superb. So how do you conceive this?
Well, how much time do we have?
We have the whole day.
Yeah, well, like I said, I've always had this idea.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to have a beauty brand since I was like 8.
Since you were
like 8 years
So what
old.
did you want to do at 8 years?
I
Like what
wanted
did you
to have
dream?
like my own makeup brand. I wanted to have my own
You knew
perfume
about makeup
line.
at 8?
Yes, because that's all I've loved my whole entire life. I've loved beauty, I've loved fashion. I used to, when I was in primary, I used to be a kid model, a child model at Arapapa. So I was exposed. I was already exposed to makeup and hair and fashion.
So that's how my
runways.
girl is going to tell me.
Yeah.
She packs a lip gloss to go to school.
Yeah, I was that girl
Even
as well. Yeah, I was that girl. After class, I would go to the modeling agency, rehearse. Then sometimes would have shows, and I was really young, 10, 8, 9. So I've been exposed to.
So your
fashion
mother
from-
knew that this is what you loved,
Yes.
and she pushed you.
Yes,
that.
yes. Because I would tell them, you know,
Wow.
I would tell them, this is what I want. At first, I think I wanted to be a fashion designer. Then I wanted to be a model. Everything really that I wanted
Mixed
from
up.
childhood was always in line with beauty and
Yes,
fashion and
yes.
television and all of that. So I've always had that dream. So like I said, everything was always a means to an end for me. I'm like, eventually I'll have my makeup brand. Eventually I'll do it. So it just felt right. I worked on it for about 2 years, from everything
you'd
from
say,
like
I
conception,
put in my heart, my sweat,
soul, my spirit, and everything for 2 years. And yeah, it was eventually out for everyone. But the process of just getting it to the finished product was really ghetto. I can't lie. It was tough.
But it's that ghetto that I want to get in. So you call, because then we don't manufacture here. I think you there are things there. By the way, we have people that have manufactured some of the things here. So you get to the time you know the shades that you want. Did you name them one by one?
Yeah,
by,
I actually
by
named
yourself?
them with my husband.
You get a pen and a paper, and
With
you're
my
like, okay,
husband.
we want to be able to do this.
With my husband. So
Oh, he must be very supportive.
He's very supportive. He's very proud of me. He pushes me. He's my #1 support system.
Wow.
He's my best friend. He's really
all
everything.
in one.
All
God
in
just
one.
gifted
Just
you
everything to me. So initially, because it's a huge, it's a long process.
Yeah.
You know, to get a product out. Consumer products are not very easy. So of course we have chemists.
Yes.
Yeah, we had to get chemists, get them on board, start formulations. Formulations take about 12 months until you have the final formulation. Then we had to get a packaging team on board.
So I thought
to
these
create
things were
custom
simple.
packaging. Yeah, because if you look at our packaging, there's no other brand in the world with that packaging. So everything was created from scratch. We created an individual mold for us with our brand colors, with our designs and all of that, created the packaging. Then once we were done with the formulation, done with the packaging, now it was time to decide what do we start with.
Okay.
Yes, because we formulated a lot of stuff, you know, but then you can't start with everything.
Unveil everything.
Yes, you have to give.
You'll confuse the market.
Yes, #1. Plus, you have to give your business a chance to grow. So once you start with everything, then you are going to sabotage your own growth. Yes.
Wow.
So
so that's strategy right there.
yes, from the beginning.
Strategy sessions.
I don't do anything just for just. I plan out everything. Sometimes things go as planned, sometimes they don't. But then you
again, it's always
re-strategize.
good to plan.
Exactly.
Whether it goes as planned
Exactly,
or not.
because now if you're planning to get into consumer products, that is something that is very sensitive. That is something that can get you arrested. That is
That's
something
true.
that, you know, so you have to be very careful. You know, you have to make sure things are safe for everyone. We had to get
for
UNBS
health,
certified at the end of the day. So eventually we got our colors that we wanted to launch with. We got the product that we wanted to launch with. We have so many products that we just keep dropping some along the way. But initially we had a lot. So we said, what do we start with? What do women use a lot? Lipstick, lip gloss, lip liner. At least every
Let's
woman
have those out. Yeah.
has at least a lipstick. Even though they don't know how to do the rest of their face, their eyebrows.
Yeah, but at least they need a
Let's be
lipstick.
strategic and start with something that every woman can have a piece of.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what we did. We chose the colors. Once we chose the colors, we put them on the market, gave some of my makeup artist friends, hired a team of people, like in a whole house, just to test the products for a period of 3 months. You test it, wear it every day to make sure it's safe. Yes, it's not going to turn your lips black. It's not going to change.
So you went full blown.
Full blown, because I was ready for it. I'm like, now is the time for me to do this.
That must have been tedious.
Very, very, very
So you're
tedious.
in the waiting to, it's like you have conceived, you're about to give birth, but you're saying, the world has to be a safe place before I give birth to this baby.
And then you eventually find out, oh, this color doesn't work. Then you go back to the drawing board, twitch it a little bit, bring it back, test it on the market, stuff like that. So eventually when things were okay,
ready,
we're ready, we're certified, now it's time to actually produce. Production takes 2 months, 2 to 3 months as well, because we're producing a lot. So many units. Production, and then now production was done, have the products ready, they're in that warehouse. I'm just sitting and I'm like,
you're just
I don't
waiting
want to launch, I'm scared.
Yeah.
And,
no,
I was like,
that's an important part.
Yeah, and I'm like, no. No, I'm not ready. And each time I would think about the launch, I would just start sweating. I'm like, why did I do this? Oh my God, no.
Just imagine you've endured all this while.
Yep. That's
and now here you are with, and I don't know why, but that 11th hour is usually the worst.
It was horrible. It was horrible because actually my husband had to sit with me and he was like, you know what? We're never going to launch if you don't make up your mind. Let's set a date. I'm like, okay. And this was, I think, around March. No, around May. I'm like, a launch. Okay. Remember, I have everything ready.
What was your greatest fear?
I was just scared because, you know, this is my baby. This is something that is
you want
so
it to be
personal to me. It's something that I love so much. So I felt like any bit of scrutiny was going to just really hurt me because we've worked so hard. So I just wanted everything to be perfect.
So it's like giving birth to a baby and someone says your baby is ugly.
Ugly. You can call me ugly. I'll be okay with it.
I know, but now, my
baby, like, come on. You
carried
don't know how much.
Him 9 months in.
That's it. So that was my problem. Like a bit.
So while, just pause right there. While you were telling us on social media, oh, I'm so excited to share this with you.
I was sweating. I was like, God, why did I do this?
This is typical business. Like, this is typical business and what happens behind. While you're saying I'm excited, it's like you are pep talking yourself and speaking to your mind, exciting yourself as well. So people think you're telling them, but you're also trying to speak to yourself. But please get in the mood.
Oh, listen.
You panel
so
beat
my
yourself.
husband had to tell me, you know what? We need to launch. We need to launch. Just set a date. Just think about it and set a date.
Get it over with.
This is May. I was like, October. Because I thought October was so far.
Too far,
right? So I was like, October. So
and then
like
you're bringing
October
all the strategy of social media. Now let's push, let's do what? When October comes, we'll be ready.
We needed to have enough time for a marketing campaign.
Yes,
this is a new product. We're not just going to throw it. Photo shoots,
models.
Exactly. Storylines and all of that. Everything that goes into marketing. Figuring out the pricing.
Websites. E-commerce.
All of that. So I'm like, October. But when I said October, he's like, when? October when? I'm like, end of October. He's like, no.
No,
no.
I like your husband.
No, we're not doing that. He said October, I've said yes. But you're saying the last weekend of October, no. The whole year is going to go by. These things have an expiration date. So he's like, okay, I'll allow October if it's the first weekend of October. I'm like, perfect, let's go with that. So we're like 2nd October. So in between May and 2nd October, we just created a whole marketing campaign. That's why there were teasers and
so
everyone
was
just anticipating as well.
You realize when you're working on other people's things, you just show up and do. Like it's another person's burden. I mean, so carry your burden. I'll just show up and, you know, look cute. But once it's yours,
Yeah.
The toiling and the sweating and the thinking and the
Unmatched.
overthinking.
And the overthinking and the self-sabotage. That's where really your beliefs come into play, and everything that has guided you, really you have to
Yeah.
use it now. You have to bring out all the weapons because
Yeah.
you're going to need them.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
eventually we worked our way towards the launch. We had a very successful launch. So many of my friends,
No one knew all the
industry
tears you had.
no one
No
knew.
one.
And it was smooth, it was beautiful. We made a lot of money on the launch. So the morning after, that's when I was like, what?
This is a reality now.
Like, it's for real. So I'll never forget, we launched on a Saturday. Then on a Sunday, I'll never forget our first client from like the Sunday. During the launch, we had so many people support and all of that. So we made the money we used for the launch back that night.
Wow.
Yeah. Then the next day, I'll never forget our client, our first client. I was like, this is a real thing now. Like, they called and then they made their order. And then we had like all these agents and distributors starting to call, hey, what are your wholesale prices? Can we stock you? So now it became a real thing. It was now in motion.
Wow, it's tangible now.
It's now
Everyone
it's a real
can have a piece
thing,
of that.
right? So I was like, I was scared for almost a whole year. I couldn't breathe. I had heart palpitations.
I know.
But now people are actually receiving
Only to
it.
wake up to
Only to wake up,
this.
and it's actually a real
And
thing.
it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, and then for months it was very, very good until the next year it just became silent. The orders weren't coming in as much.
Yeah.
And I was
I
like,
love where this conversation is
why
going.
did I do
so.
this?
So you go back.
Yeah.
And
and
you
I'm
go back to
like,
your panic mode.
Yeah, panic mode, because now you're used to making a lot of money
Yeah.
to having a period of months where you're like, I made
Because
a
it's a
mistake.
consumer product.
Yeah.
When you promote it, people buy. When you don't promote it, people
I
don't
don't know,
buy.
we're still promoting.
And when you
were still
sometimes they
promoting and
just keep promising, I'll
Yeah,
buy next
and
year,
no
I'll
one
buy
was
next.
buying. Like, they were not buying to the extent that they
That you
bought from the
expected.
beginning. Like, when we
Yes.
launched with a bang. So for months, a period of like 6 months, it was like up, 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 and then
Yeah.
quiet. And then I had like 3 months of, well, I didn't know it would only be 3 months, but for me, it just felt like a lifetime, because it felt
Yeah.
this month has gone by, the next month has gone by, and I'm
Nothing.
like, I've made a mistake.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done
Started this in
Yeah,
the
I shouldn't
first.
have, or maybe I shouldn't have produced a lot of pieces. You know what I mean? Because the first 6 months we were sold out of so many things, and did another
Batch.
another
Wow.
batch of the same, and just
more.
even more. That second batch, yeah, just taught me, like,
And you
who
know,
the boss is.
if you're like me,
Yeah.
people with faith, like we are over dreamers.
Yeah.
Sometimes we dream in excess than other
Yep,
people.
yep.
So while others are telling you, do 1,000 pieces, for you, you're thinking, you know what, if I have money, I'm going to do
Yeah.
10,000. What's the problem? They will stay and they will go. So you over, so that's what you went into.
And then we had like 3 months of just
Silence.
and the agents were not restocking as much anymore and stuff like that. But then what that taught me is really the business of consumer products. It's just not like that.
Yeah.
You know, so during those 3 months, then we created new products. We're like, oh, let's try to add in a few things. Now we started expanding during the 3 months, because it was quiet. We had time
Yes.
with the team to actually create new stuff.
New stuff
Then we
behind
did
the
a lot of
curtains.
market research. We realized we didn't have a lot of the colors that people wanted. And initially they were buying off the hype.
Yes.
That we started with, so they wanted to try.
The
and
hype had gone down.
Yes, it had gone down, and they realized we don't have a wide range. We started with about 15 products. Right now we have 45.
45.
Yeah.
I need to come to the warehouse or wherever you keep your
Yes,
products.
we have an
so I can
office, we have a
see the
warehouse,
whole
whatever.
range of.
Yes, so we started with 15. So we realized, okay, they're not coming back, not because our products are not good,
Yeah.
but we have a
We
limited
need
range
options,
of
yeah.
colors. You know, you cannot have red, pink, and nude. Where are the purples? Where are the browns? Where are the purple, pink hues? You know,
Yeah.
so those 3 months where everything was dead silent, and I thought of saying, God, what do I do with the rest of this stuff? Gave us time to actually know what we needed to do. So
And
we
in,
worked on
in
new
those
stuff.
downtowns.
Yeah, that's when we got a chance to actually create new stuff.
Yeah.
We created new colors, relaunched, and then it was now up from there.
Yeah, but you know, when people take that curve, sometimes they get depressed.
Yeah.
And sometimes the overthinking is in a high
Yeah,
gear,
yeah.
and that is when people throw in a towel.
Yep.
Before you know it, their merchandise is rotting somewhere. Nothing is happening
Over
until
my
it's
dead body.
expired. And yeah, they will not even lift a finger. Like, they will be numb
Feel so
and
defeated,
paralyzed
yeah.
and feel so defeated. And some of them will not even know what to pray about. And they even don't know how to pray about.
It's
So I can
understandable.
only, and it's understandable
it's
from a
understandable,
perspective of a
yeah.
business person. I understand what that person is going through. But again, the difference between those that make it and those that don't
Yeah.
make it is the resilience that we have to bounce back in those moments. And for only you to bounce back to ideation process, a fresh
and
ideation
figure out
process.
why, what happened.
Because someone will be
Yeah.
so tired in that space that they will not even want to try a thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They will
And
say, you know what,
also-
let's cut production. Let's, let's be realistic with our markets and with our targets.
Yes.
Let's take the workers off. Let's, as in, they will be downsizing everything instead of re-strategizing how to roll out and to
Exactly. And I think also that's the difference between people that get into business just based off emotion
yeah.
than
Because
preparation.
emotions are short-lived.
Yeah, than preparation.
Feelings are short-lived.
Yeah, so, and I also think also one of the things that helped me through that 3-month period was knowing I've wanted this for like all my life.
Yeah.
So am I going to just walk out right now?
Because the demand
And
is not
then
what I expected.
And then when I walk out, what am I going to do with my life?
Yeah.
You know, because this is what I've really, truly always wanted to do with my
Yes,
life.
yes.
So now that things are not going well, then I also remember the time things were going well, I'm like, no, something is not right here.
Yeah.
So we have to get it right. And I also really thank God for my husband because he helped me a lot during that. He has no emotions when it comes to business. He's a very successful businessman. So he helped me out. He's like, detach your emotions from this business. Stop crying and figure out what's going on.
What's
so we're
wrong,
able
yeah,
to
what's
grow
not
this and make
working.
it successful.
Yeah.
But if you stay emotional about it, then you will not even get the criticism that the clients or the consumers are actually giving you, the
feedback,
feedback.
yeah,
You will
yeah.
have a wall.
Oh,
But
yes.
remove the emotions. Once the emotions are out of the picture, you'll be able to understand and hear what you need to do.
Yes. And,
Yes.
and decide better
And decide
for how
better.
you show up again.
Yes,
and
so
how you come back.
then I was able to do that slowly by slowly, not instantly, you know, because
Yes.
I'm a woman, I'm not going to turn off my emotions like that. But I had to realize that, oh wait, this is a business, so it's a different machine from myself.
Yes.
The business that I've had in the past, apart from this, has been off my personal brand. So meaning I've had my emotions attached to every single job.
Everything. Yeah.
Yes, but this one does not need my emotions.
That's
now that
true.
it's up and running, it needs me to actually think, it needs me to take criticism, it needs me to commit, and it needs me to move.
Stay in the game.
Stay
for
in
the
the
long
game,
haul.
good or bad.
Yes.
You know, and I'm glad. After our relaunch, when we added all these colors and started rolling them out and changing our marketing strategy a bit, going more towards the content marketing route other than
Yes.
influencer marketing.
Yes.
Competitive pricing, we twitched our pricing as well, changing our
Yeah, you
like we
brought
did
in the combos and stuff like
we
that.
did all
yeah.
of that, and it's just been uphill,
Oh.
uphill.
Wow,
Yes.
wow. So I hope that for any business person watching this, you are picking those golden nuggets that are
Yes.
coming out, that when the business is down, and for as long as you really know this is something that you really like,
That you want to do, yeah.
stay in there.
Stay in the game.
Stick in the game.
Stay in the game.
Don't get out of that
Yeah.
ring and just look from inside out and criticize yourself and beat yourself up for it. And you know, I don't know if this happened to you. When we launch out businesses, when we start things, the first critics are usually the people that know us. Sometimes they will criticize in a way that is audible, that we can hear, and sometimes you will read their body language and know that the reception has not been good. Even the Bible talks about it, that the number one enemy will be in the house, not even, because sometimes the people out, you will never know what they will say anything, but the people that are inside, they really matter. Did you see anything like that?
Of course, trust me.
You read
I feel
into
like
it.
there's nothing that will show you friendship or support like having a business, because
Yeah.
listen, and I don't blame them, it's okay,
Yeah.
because I have a successful company now,
Yeah.
right? But I can't have a successful company based off my close circle. Those are few in number.
Very
Number
few.
one.
And how many pieces
Yes,
are going to they going to
exactly.
buy?
So it's okay if they don't, because they're few compared
Yeah.
to the rest.
Yes.
You know, and once you put that in your head, it's also part of
The
taking
emotions.
out.
Exactly.
You know what?
Eradicate.
Eradicate emotions. So I feel like also business has made me like a guy in a way. Like
I
I
know.
just I'm
Go
very
getter.
shrewd
You
and
like-
I'm very tough when it comes to it, because I can't play with it.
Yeah.
And
No
I don't
games.
care who supports it, who doesn't. Why? Because I can count. If I'm able to know that you are not supporting me, that's okay.
Yeah.
You have another brand that you're supporting.
That you
and
like.
Initially, our goal was to get market share. I
Mhm.
wasn't here to play games and do all of that.
Yeah.
And we're turning 2 next week.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
so in our second year, we're getting market share. So that's what I want. That's my goal. You know, we're in Rwanda, we're in Nairobi. Those are some of our biggest markets.
Yeah.
Kigali
Mm-hmm.
is very huge for us. Nairobi is very huge for us. So being in all these big retail shops, being in small business owners' shops, that's something that I wanted for my business.
Yeah.
And that's something that we have right now. And
Not
it
to
just
fight
keeps-
small petty battles.
No,
and
no, 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 no.
It's not about
Not
who
to see
pulls
who-
down who and who
Yes.
is winning and who is
Yes,
that.
because I
No.
won't even
Can I
know-
focus on what I am doing and
Thank you
push
very
it?
much. Because I won't even know if you bought from me
Yeah,
or not.
yeah.
Because we have a whole system of how we do our sales and all of that. So
Some
that-
information
that's
will
not-
never even reach you.
That's okay. That's okay. Buy from who you want to buy from. Let me focus on the clients that actually love our products and see how I can bring more products for them,
Yeah.
better quality products for them,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you heard it from Fabiola. I know we can have this conversation
All
until
day long.
tomorrow. We'll talk about so many. Like
Yeah.
I think in this conversation we have segments and segments and segments that I feel are unending. I don't want them to end, but again, unfortunately, time is usually not on our side. But I want us to just say one word to the business community out there, to the business. I know that so many men are doing business as well. Whenever I speak to the women, the men quarrel and they're like, "But why are you leaving us? Why are you just talking to the women?"
Yeah.
But being a woman that is ambitious, and a woman that is not just ambitious but ambitious and productive, and then you have tangible results. Now those are three things that are very hard to come by in the same statement or in the same person. What would you tell to the women that are dreaming out there, regardless of age? We are all at different dreaming
course,
stages.
yeah.
What would you tell them?
Number one, commitment. You can't succeed at something you've not committed to.
Yeah.
And you know what commitment is. Once you commit to something, that means no matter what, you're going to have to figure out a way.
Yeah.
You're going to have to sell your kidneys, do something to make it work.
Yeah.
That's what commitment does. Because you can lie to yourself and talk about discipline, talk about all these other virtues that are very important. But once you're not committed, it's not going to work. So that's the number one virtue.
Commit.
Commit to it. Once you commit and say,
You're like, I'm
going to do
sold
this,
out to this. So
come rain,
come
come thunderstorms, come anything, I'm
Yeah.
going to make it work. You always find a way. Number two, finish what you started. Consistency.
Yeah.
Consistency, because yes, you're committed, but if you're going to do something today, you're going to market
Start on
today
something, yeah.
and not market tomorrow, not market the next day, market when you feel like. No, it doesn't
That's
work
not
like that. You know, the more hours you put into something, the better off.
Yeah.
You know, on the job, I had to teach myself marketing. I can say I'm better than people that have a degree in marketing. You know,
Wow,
at some
yeah.
point,
Just by being a business owner,
yes,
it teaches
you, know,
you
I
the
had
hard
to do
way.
courses, marketing courses. I had to do sales courses, things like that, just to teach myself the business of
Yeah.
what I was getting into. So be committed, stay consistent,
Yeah.
and then the discipline of knowing that if I've said I'm going to do this by Monday, it has to be by Monday. So just teaching yourself that discipline, your business needs that. Because once you have that discipline, then you're able to teach the same to your team.
Yes.
And I feel like people learn from you better by seeing. Yes, so I feel like those four things for me, commitment, consistency, discipline, and creating a great team,
great team,
are really
yeah.
amazing.
We learn the hard way.
Yeah.
But I know that we'll be here sometime to talk about recruiting and the tears and, you know, all the game-changing nuggets that we have to learn, because so many businesses are not thriving because of bad teams, recruiting, and failing to terminate when they need to, and all that. But I know that we'll have a chance to have that conversation. From us to you, we love you. Nothing more from us.